Welcome to the very first edition of Can I Fix This? Today I'm going to try to fix the exhaust system on my Citroen 2CV. The reason for doing this is pretty simple. It's broken. In fact, if you look at this video taken the last time I drove it, you can see that it was already starting to sag at that point, and now it's sitting on the driveway. The good news is it should be relatively easy. There's only three parts: this front pipe that I mentioned, the muffler, and the rear tailpipe. The other thing that's going to make this work a lot easier is that on the Citroen 2CV, you can actually remove this whole fender and this little trim piece, which gives me really good, easy access to the whole engine bay. Before I start removing the fender piece here and the trim piece here, there are a few wires and electronic bits that I want to remove because they run through the fender and they get caught up on it when I try to take it off. The first is this electronic ignition piece here. Next up, there is a wire that runs to the headlight. It's a red wire. It comes through a little grommet right here in the fender, goes through a clip, and then there's a connector that can be detached. Last, there's a wire that comes through the bottom of the fender here, kind of in front of the front wheel. It runs through to this little parking light here. Now that we have all the electronics disconnected, we can go ahead and take this trim piece off. Second one down here, and the third one. Okay, with those bolts, this comes right off, and the bracket falls off. Now that I have the trim piece removed and the wires disconnected, I can go ahead and remove the fender. It's pretty easy. There's just 4 connection points. Each one is very simple. It's just a threaded stud attached to the body of the car. It goes up through a U-shaped bracket attached to the fender, and then a nut tightens down on it to hold the fender into place. Now we see if I did this all right. Got to kind of wiggle this. It's been a while since I've done this. Fortunately, I do not have a Concours paint job on this car. And there we go. Now that I've got the fender off, I can see exactly where this bracket is. Aha, there we go. First nut removed. Now we'll get the second one off. And one of the great things about this car is that it's really simple mechanically. It's one of the reasons I bought the car, actually. I mean, I thought it was cool, but I also appreciated that it was simple enough that I could work on it. There we go. One half of the pipe clamp removed. And there we go. Came right off. All right. So the other thing that I ordered when I bought the other parts was this kit. This is all the fitting hardware that you need from the front to the rear. It's time to put the new one on. I've got my bracket from the kit that I bought. I've got some exhaust seal here. I'm going to smear that around the openings to the pipe and then get it all bolted together. Now I'm going to put the pipes together, secure them with the new bracket. To remove this, there are some straps. This strap right here has broken, you can see right there, and the top half of it is secured to the bottom of the floor of the car under the driver's side, and you'll see it right there under the floor mat. And there we have the bracket. Now that the front bracket has been removed, we'll take out the rear bracket, which is in front of the rear seat. It is interesting that the front bracket simply has some holes, but the rear bracket has the nuts attached to the bracket, so it's a lot easier to remove. You don't have to reach underneath and hold the nut in place with a wrench like I did on the front. It looks like this front bracket is actually just a piece of metal that somebody bent and drilled some pretty ugly holes in. There we have it. Removed the muffler as well as half of the tailpipe, because this is the other location where it was broken. The last removal piece is the remainder of the tailpipe. It's held together with two little rubber straps just like this, bolted at the top and bottom. Got to take those out and then I'll have everything removed. There we go, one down. Very simple, just a little round clip that goes over each side of the rubber and then a bolt through that. This one's a little tougher to get to. What is happening here? Oh, and there it falls again. Okay. Now I'm looking at the new muffler and the different fittings that it has. I'm comparing it to the old muffler, and it's a little bit different with the kit that I have here. The best I can figure this out looking at the existing muffler and the parts that I have is that this should go together the same way the old one does, which is rubber ring here, little metal bracket here sliding into a slot, and then this gets screwed down into the bracket that's on the muffler using a washer and a lock nut. I've got the rubber brackets on the muffler. I've done it the best I know how. That's why I call this "Can I fix this?" not "I can fix this," because I'm never quite sure. If I haven't done it right and somebody knows the right way to do it, I would love to hear about it. Put it in the comments, let me know. There we go. This one is easier because it has the nuts built right into the bracket, except I realized they're not built into the bracket. They are little clips that are slid onto the bracket. Okay, next up I'm going to attach the pipes. I've got from my kit this little ring clamp. Slide it on there. Some exhaust seal over this. Now again, this is one of those things that I'm doing for the first time in my life, so if I'm doing something that's wrong, I would love to hear about it. Now that we've got that on, we get to the exciting part, fitting them together. Ah, there we go. Fantastic. We're coming down to the last steps here. I just need to get the tailpipe mounted to the rubber straps that are hanging down. I'm going to keep the existing rubber straps. I do have new ones, but the ones that are on the car look good. I think they'll be fine. I am going to try and use these brackets that came with my kit. They look a little sturdier than the ones on the existing tailpipe, and also they're not rusted. Next up, attach the muffler to the tailpipe and tighten it all together. Right. Well, that went on easy. Now, I think I can tighten it all up. The last two pieces I have are these little rubber straps at the back on the tailpipe, and then we get to fire it up and see if this worked. I'm back from my test drive of the new exhaust system, and I'm happy to say it works. There were no strange rattles, there were no strange sounds of any kind. There was no exhaust smoke pouring up out of the system. which means the answer to the question, can I fix this, is yes. Hey, if you liked this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more, you can hit subscribe and even that little bell icon. If you hit that, then you'll get a notification when I post some more. Thanks so much for watching.